Alright gang, welcome back to our Skyefin Aquafarm series here in Kinlaig. It is July, and yeah, the small field that we created here on our yard is ready to harvest. So we are underway and doing that right off the bat here. So from one harvest to the next, and more straw on the ground as well. So we definitely are going to have to try to figure out something to do with that straw. At current, with the amount of money we have, I don't think we have enough money to do anything that I kind of talked about in the past, but we will take a look nonetheless. Now, it has been a while since I've done a recording, or anything in Farming Simulator for that matter. So I gotta shake the rust off here a little bit, so bear with me for a few minutes if I am a little rusty on a couple of things. Now, for all of you, it won't have been any time at all. I've had a video out every single day for you, but I had been gone for, well, about a week exactly. Really, it's a week exactly after, at the time of this recording, I should say. We did come back yesterday on a red-eye, so I'm a little tired, I'm a little exhausted, so that might also play a little bit of a role here with my rust trying to get back in the groove here, but I'm excited to be back, I'm happy to be back, and I've missed playing some Farming Simulator, man, I really have. So I believe well, I guess it was this morning technically, I got back to everyone's comments, I think, that I saw. If for some reason I didn't get back to you yet, I apologize, I certainly will, and yeah. So it's been going well, man. So real quick about the poker tournament, it was a bit of an unfortunate ending for me. Didn't make it past the first day. There was about 20 minutes left in the end of the first day. I could have ended up folding what I had and probably made it to the next day. But basically what happened was I had pocket kings. I raised pre-flop. A guy pushed all in over top of me, who had pocket jacks. I called, and on the flop he hit a jack, so my pocket kings got cracked. Now, if you don't know anything about poker or any of the ranges or anything like that, then that's a hand. Jacks are tough, man. There's no easy way to play jacks, or the jiggities, if you will. But you know, with jacks, that's one way you're supposed to go about doing it, right? So, but in that instance, I had an 81% chance that I should have won that hand. So there was literally only a 19% chance that he was going to hit a jack, or I guess he could have hit a straight or a couple other things with it, right? But really, the odds are I should have won that hand. I didn't. And unfortunately, the guy had about 5,000 more chips than I did at that moment. I had somewhere in the 70,000 range. I was pretty happy with myself, though. At one point, it had been probably an hour and a half ago or so, at the time of this hand happening, I was down to 4,500 chips, which was not many. The blinds were, I think, at that point, 1-2, I think. So I had just slightly over 2 big blinds. Not really a great spot to be in, but I bounced back. I you know, clawed my way back to 70-something thousand in chips, and then that was an unfortunate way for me to go out. If I would have ended up winning that hand, like the odds say I should have, I would have been in the top 10, maybe even close to the top 5% of the chip stacks at that point. Certainly would have been the chip leader overall. I would have been the chip leader at my table by far, but I wouldn't have been the chip leader overall in the tournament at that point. But yeah, so it's a little unfortunate that is the way that it all ended up. But you know, it is what it is, right? It's poker. Sometimes you have to have a little luck. I played it how I should have played it, right? I played that exactly how you should. You're never going to fold pocket kings in that situation. If you do, you're not really going to win many poker tournaments, right? So I was never going to fold those. Really, what I thought he had when I made the call was pocket aces, but I was like, you know what? I'd kill myself, or I'd punch myself, or kick myself, or whatever if you know, I folded pocket kings. Like that's an absolute just ludicrous thing to do. So, but anyway, what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? Still had a lot of fun. Was a great time. There a little bit too long since I was only in that tournament for that first day. It was a little too long for Vegas, in my opinion. Really, I've said this to many people before. If you've never been to Vegas, you don't need a long time in Vegas. You are going to get exhausted and tired just because that city does not sleep. It does sleep, but, well, not really. But the amount of people that are out, it sleeps around 5 in the morning, maybe 4 in the morning sometimes, to about 9 in the morning, maybe 10. There's a very small window there where there's not many people out. It's definitely not asleep, but compared to what it was just a few hours prior, it definitely feels like it's a little bit of a sleep, I guess. But yeah, you really don't need more than 3 full days there. I would say, you know, 4 days total. You know, you go out late one night, then have 3 days and leave, you know, the later on that third day. I think that's all you really need. Now, the red eye. I haven't done a red eye in a while, and I don't think I'll be doing one again for quite a while. It was rough, man. It was a little rough coming back on that red eye. It really was. Yeah. I think I might be taking either a flight that's a little less comfy, like a Frontier flight, for example, or an Allegiant flight, if you know what Allegiant is, if you have Allegiant near you. Or I'll be doing, you know, like a layover somewhere. I don't really love doing layovers. I prefer straight flights. Obviously, it's just easier for lots of reasons, right? Weather and delays and things can cause you mayhem if you do stops, so I don't really like doing the stops, but, you know, I just don't think I want to do a red eye ever again. I think I said that last time I did a red eye, which was, admittingly, probably a couple of years ago, and this time I was like, yeah, you know what, let's do it. And, yeah, if I could go back in time and tell myself, I would tell myself not to do that this time, but, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, the point I'm trying to say is it was a lot of fun, but it was a little bit too long in Vegas. But we did have a lot of fun. We actually went to the art district, which I don't know if you've been to Vegas before or not, but it's basically an older area that has been being built up. It's being built up. It's got quite a few breweries. We went and checked out a couple of those breweries. Had dinner at Holstein's, which is a burger place. Used to be in the Cosmo, and then they left the Cosmo and bought their own building in the art district. It was fantastic, as it always was before. I'm a little concerned about it, though. It was not very busy. Now, granted, it was the middle of the week, but I'm a little concerned that it will survive. So I hopefully it does, but I'm a little concerned about it. The art district is an area they're trying to build up, but at the same time, I'm not quite sure there's enough people going there yet to make it justified, if that makes sense. There's some good stuff there. Like I said, there's multiple breweries, which were great to go check those out. But that's really it. There's not much else. I mean, there's definitely some vintage type of shops and things like that. So maybe on the weekends it's a little bit busier than what I'm thinking, right? Very well, not even maybe. It probably is a lot busier on the weekends. But middle of the week, you at least need to probably see a little bit more people than there were in there. I think when we went to dinner, I think it was around 6-ish, which is a little early for me, but, you know, we were hungry. But I think it was around 6, maybe 6:30, and from the time we were there until we left, which was probably a little over an hour, there was only like 7-8 people that were in there. It just doesn't seem like enough for Vegas in my eyes, which is unfortunate because Holstein's has really, really good burgers, man. They were always slammed in the Cosmo, so I'm wondering if they're regretting their decision to do what they did. Maybe they don't. Maybe, I would assume at the Cosmo that the price of rent is astronomical. I can only imagine how much they would charge, so maybe they're not concerned about it, but anyway. So that was fun. I think that was one of the more fun days for me, honestly. Gambling itself was not having any luck. Playing poker is the only thing I did have luck doing, but I think I mentioned it before that, you know, we had a couple friends that came there with us, at least for part of the time, and really, I don't necessarily like going and playing poker when friends are there or wife's there, because I feel bad, right? I feel bad because I'm going to be playing poker for 3, 4, 5 hours. If you've ever played poker, you know, it takes you a couple hours before you really can say, I've made money, right? It's not like, I mean, occasionally you can, sure, but it's not like you can go in there and in 15, 20 minutes, like you would at like a table, say, hey, I just made money, or I just lost all my money, it's time to go, right? It's a little bit more of a slower grind. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is I feel bad doing that with friends or my wife there because I'm leaving them alone for 3, 4, 5 hours, right? And, you know, it is what it is. So sometimes things work out, you know, if they go to a pool or something like that and I don't want to go, I can go play poker that way. But otherwise, whenever we have people there, I normally don't do a whole lot of poker playing, with the exception, of course, of this tournament, right? But next year, I think it'll just be me going to the tournament. I don't think my wife will be going, so I'll be able to play poker the entire time, which is what I would really prefer to do. You know, playing tables and stuff, that's fine. But, I mean, the tables are very much heavily weighted towards the casino, right? So the odds are you're not going to be able to sit there for hours upon hours, right? Like you can do with poker. I don't really play slots, so that's, you know, it's just not my thing. I did play a little bit of them this trip because I just wasn't winning anything. I did do an okay job at making some money back on slots, but Yeah, actually, so all the tables I would normally play, I would play, you know, Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker, occasionally blackjack, Pai Gow. But the table game that was actually doing the best for me this trip, which is normally not the case, was roulette. I was doing pretty well at roulette. I was making an okay amount of money back from that I had lost. I certainly came back as a loser, unfortunately, but you know, winning a couple times at roulette definitely helped prolong the ability for me to enjoy Vegas, if that makes sense, at least from a gambling perspective. But yeah, overall, it was a good time, man. It really was a lot of fun. Can't wait for next year. Just a bit unfortunate how everything ended up, right? Would have loved to win that King's hand. 81% of the time it tells me I should have won that hand. I think if I would have won that hand, I could have really made a strong run to making some money. Anyway, how's everyone doing? That's 10 minutes of me rambling, 11 minutes of me rambling about Vegas and the trip. How's everyone doing? I hope you're all doing well today. Like I said, I'm happy to be back, man. I'm happy to be back. We've got to get the rest of this oat field here harvested. Our other field is not ready yet, so this one will be. And then it's going to be a matter of us picking up the straw. And like I mentioned, I'm just not quite sure we're going to be able to do anything with the straw for a little bit. It might just be a situation where you have to go and directly sell it. I talked about before how I would love to be able to turn it into something else so we don't have to directly sell it. I'm just not quite sure we're going to be able to do anything with it. We've got our silage pole over there, which is fantastic because we can put the straw in it and it'll just store the straw for us. It's not going to be able to be turned into silage, but at least it can store the straw for the time being, so that's probably what we're going to end up doing. And then selling the straw when it's time to sell it, but you never know. Maybe by the time it is a situation for us to sell the straw, maybe we'll have enough money at that point to consider doing something else with the straw. I don't know, but I guess we'll find out, right? I guess we'll find out. Now, we did put another, trout lake down, right? So, things are looking good. We've got a little more work to do, but things are looking really good for us. Today, we're going to be going down after we're done with this harvest here, and, well, quite frankly, we're going to be heading down to our aqua farm and picking up the fish, and then more than likely, all of the fish that we have there will be put into all these lakes. So I saw another comment that said, in regard to the fish farming stuff, if you have the lakes on, both of them on, you get more fish out of it, but the actual aqua farm itself, and I think the fish food factory, I think you should only have one selected, I think is what I saw. So we're going to give that a shot. We're going to try that out. Let's do a quick autosave here first, but we're going to try that out and see how that goes. Let's just try to make sure we have it set up properly, right? And see if we can get a little more bang for our buck, if you will. I think they're both on already. Yeah. They are both on, and we have everything set up properly. We've got one young salmon going, and then the young trout +2, we've got that going as well. So we do have that set up properly. Eventually, we're going to turn on the 2x2 salmon as well. But we've got enough money to do it maybe now. But I would honestly like to keep a little bit more of this money, so I'm not going to do that just yet. Because when we turn on the salmon ×2, we're going to require a heck of a lot more fish food to go in there, right? And fish food's not cheap, right? It's super expensive, so we're not quite there yet, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Soon we will be there, but we're not quite there yet. All right, we are full again, so we're going to go ahead and unload this. Then we're going to get the rest of this taken care of, and then we're going to drop all this oat off into the mill. And then we're going to start our process, as I mentioned, of picking up all the fish, transporting them around here to the lakes and stuff, and then probably heading over to the sell point for the fish as well. Now, I suspect we're still going to be doing the same thing we were before, which is taking them to the market, right? Let's see. Come on, hurry up. So the trout, yeah. We're going to the fish market. And the young salmon are going the same thing they always do, the fish market. So somebody also told me that if I in the edit, if you remember this, Z, in the edit, if you're in this portion of the edit, somebody said that, let me find where am I going here? Here we go. Somebody said that there's the sell point here, but then there's also a sell point back here somewhere. So we're going to see if we can find it. I think that's where you can sell the adults at, I think. We're going to see if we can find it. I don't know for sure if I will or not, but we're going to see if we do. And yeah, we'll kind of get into the groove here. Get back, get the rust off, and let's get back in and get this thing done, right? All right, we got everything stacked up here. Before I head up to the shop, I want to see about the flour. I don't think it's good. I think we looked last time, but like I said, bear with me. It's been a week for me since I've done a video, so I don't remember. And yes, I know a lot of this stuff I probably should have fully memorized at this point with how much I do it, but yeah, it's not great. Yeah, we're not going to sell it for that price. I refuse to sell it. There's no reason to sell it for that price. I might as well wait. Now, one thing I should check, I didn't look at. Okay, there's still room, so it is working. We have oats in there, but the oats are not on. Yeah, they are on. Okay, the barley's on, the oats on, sorghum's on, and wheat. Okay, they're all on, so we're good there. Yeah, okay, good. So there's still some room in there for it to make more, but eventually we are going to have to move some of those pallets out of the way so more pallets can spawn, which opens up more room in the storage here of the mill, right? Good, okay. You've seen me do this trip to the shop a billion times. So we're just going to head to the shop. I'll do a bit of a jump cut this time. And we will see what kind of money we make. First of all, we'll see if we can find the selling point for the adult trout, which I've been told is on the back side from one of my subscribers. So let's check that and verify that we can find that first thing first. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, we are here. I'm going to go around the back here. Probably not the way I'm supposed to go, although there is a gate here, so I guess I can go that way. But yeah, they were told me there's something. Yeah, there is. Clearly there is. I just never noticed it back here, I guess. So let's see if we can actually sell the adult trout here. Yeah, they're going. They are going. Alright, well, there you go. I guess I should have just looked a little bit. Oh, man, $25,000 out of that. Hell yeah, baby. We are finally making some progress, man. It feels like we're making some really good progress now. And there's Scarlett just... and Walter White, all of them just sitting there eyeing me as I go and do all the selling here. Anyway, we'll sell the rest of these here, which will give us another good chunk of change here. Now, we are going to spend a good amount right now, though, if I'm honest with you, on more fish food. But still, that gets us to $97,000, which is great. Now, what I can tell you is the young fish breeding production, the aqua farm, it still has some fish food in there. It's not enough to move on to the next day, but it still has some. Now, all the rest of these are really going to need some. This one obviously is going to need 3,000. This one, 500, and then this one needs, about half, right? So we are going to need a little more fish food than we have been buying in the past. Nothing in the used market, unfortunately, for us once again. Although I don't know why I would expect there to be something there. We very rarely get lucky in there. So I'm going to buy 8 of them right now, and then I think I'll buy 4 more. So pretty expensive. It almost gets us back to, well, it's going to get us back to 66,000. So really, we're only going to make 20 grand today because I'm having to spend all this on the fish food. But in the long run, this is going to make us a lot more money, right? It's going to make us a hell of a lot more money. All right, so there's $31,000 in fish food. We've got to go pick up all of that fish food. I'm actually going to turn those icons back off again. That's just my personal preference, even though sometimes I miss things because of it, like what we just showed there. I just don't like having them on. And I know the argument for both ways, and I get the argument for both ways. It's just my personal preference. I just don't like having the icons on. It just takes away from any kind of even mediocre immersion that you might have. That's my opinion. All right, let's go pick up the fish food. Let's get it back. We'll drop it off at all the locations like we always do. And then we will see where we are time-wise. And then probably going to be picking up more straw and putting that into the silage pole for storage purposes until it's time to sell it or until we figure out something else to do with it that we can afford. $65,000 isn't going to get us another plot of land. Now, we could do another fish lake if we wanted to. I think right now I'm happy to stick with the 3. Let's see how things go with the 3 now that we've got them set up properly, as they should be at least, to get the best out of them, and then we'll go from there. If we need to do a 4th one, we'll do a 4th one. All right, so we went ahead and got the stroll up on the rest of that larger field over there, and we're going to begin the process here. We're not going to get it done today, unfortunately, but we will at least begin the process of getting it up off this one. And yes, that way in the next episode, or whenever time permits, we can begin plowing up the big field. Probably do what I talked about, right? Which, in case you missed it or forgot. My plan was kind of to take, initially it was to expand it out this way, but now I think I'm going to take this field and kind of expand it into this field and then wrap it over here and kind of line it up with this one, if you will, up to the end here. So that way we've got a medium-ish sized field here and a little bit of a larger field over here. Obviously a little smaller than it was, but also with the purchase of this field, there are some trees back here that we do own that we can chop down and make a little money on. So that's going to be a great thing for us in the winter months. We're probably not going to do anything with those right now. We've got enough going on right now that I don't think it makes sense to kind of begin that process. But here coming up in the winter months, that is absolutely going to be something that we can do. In the last winter months, we were struggling a bit with finding things to do, right? So that's certainly going to help us with our cause there, with having some trees to chop down and take care of. Now, we don't really have an easy way to get rid of those trees right now as it currently stands. We don't have, any kind of a front loader or, claw of any sort, forks, anything like that. So it likely is going to have to be something we do by hand unless we're able to purchase something at that point that makes sense, right? Maybe we buy a winch. Maybe that could help. I think the big problem with the winch, though, is as far as where we go and sell the wood at, I don't think there's anything that's relatively close to us. So buying the winch would literally just, get the trees pulled over into an area over here in the yard and kind of store them for us, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. We could do that and then sell the winch, obviously. But yeah, we'll see, right? We'll see what we end up doing at that point. That's a long, long ways away. It's not anytime soon, so not something we need to specifically focus on right now, I guess is how I should put it. Now, our other field, I do not think that's going to be ready to harvest anytime soon. Let's do a quick autosave here. Speaking of the fish lake, you might have noticed it quickly when I was in here, but we didn't have enough trout to fill up all the lakes here. These were full at the time specifically, but this one is a little low, right? So they should get to a better spot, though, here as we carry on, right? Because we're going to continue to make the same amount of fish we did in the last episode for this next episode. Or for this episode, for the next episode, excuse me. So we should be able to catch up because they don't chew through all that fish in the lake every time. So we should be fine here. It's just going to take us an episode or two probably to get caught up there, if that makes sense. So we're just going to go till we get this thing full, and then we'll go drop this off at the silage pole once again. But it's been a productive day. I actually, when I came into the episode here, I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do. Like I said, it's been a minute, right? For me, it's been a week, so definitely rusty for sure. But I couldn't even remember what we were going to have to do today. I'm sure in the last episode I talked that this one would be ready more than likely in this month or the following month, and that we would have this to harvest. But I really couldn't even remember what I talked about in the last episode, so I had to take a bit of a, a look at everything that was going on and figure out what exactly we were going to be doing today. But as soon as I jumped in, and obviously we moved on, we rested to the next month, it was clear as day that this is what we were going to be doing because it was the first thing that I saw, really, once I came out of the house. All right, we are full. So what we're going to do is go ahead and drop this off here in the silage pole, and then we'll take care of the rest of that in the next episode. I'll show you just a second here, the other field, how it is not anywhere near ready to harvest anytime soon. It's probably going to be a couple of months at a bare minimum before we get to that one. So if we go into here, this is our field here, field 9. Not going to be ready until... well, maybe it is going to be ready next month. When I was looking at it here, to me, I guess maybe it isn't ready next month. All right, well, I must be incorrect there as well. It might be ready next month, gang. But anyway, we're going to leave the episode at that point. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like, subscribe button on the case you have yet to do so. They're free to do. They help me out an absolute ton. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for your support. Cannot thank my members enough. There's a link down below if you're interested in that. You get early access to videos like this one, including the ever so popular competitive one-tile challenge on Saturdays. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. We're back, and I'll see you in the next one.